I pranked my little sister's sleepover, and now I'm on the run. I can't believe I'm even posting this. Something strange happened about 3 weeks back, and I've struggled to even put it together cohesively in my head. But I'm going to try, because I think that what happened at my sister's sleepover might actually be more widespread than I imagined. Looking back now, I don't even remember how many girls came. I think it was 10 or 12, all of them in the 2nd grade and close to my sister Rachael. As they got into their sleeping bags and told each other ghost stories, me and my best friend Kurt had a devilish idea. "We're going to scare these girls senseless," he said wickedly. I have to admit, it was for just cheap thrills, but I didn't see the harm. We got into my father's workshop and stole a few of his basic paint supplies to make Kurt look like a typical horror movie vampire. Then we went to the backyard and started to climb the tree outside of Rachel's window. Kurt was in place, ready to start making the usual boogeyman noises when he froze and squinted into the window. "What the hell?" he muttered as he tried to look in. "Hey, what are you doing? Don't be a peeping Tom." I shouted up at him, trying to figure out why he was hesitating to start the scare. Then suddenly his eyes widened, and he started to fumble backwards. I watched as his feet slipped from under him, and he fell to the ground. It happened in slow motion, but the sound of his head hitting the bird fountain in our backyard is one that I will never forget. "Jesus Christ. Kurt, are you okay?" I screamed. I looked up, waiting to see if my sister or one of her friends would stare out and see this horrific accident. I tried to prop his head up and stop the bleeding. Then I reached into my pocket to call 911, but I hesitated. I know it's dumb, but my parents were already going to give me a tongue lashing for being stupid anyway. I didn't want the cops to find me for something like this, so instead I ran inside and used Kurt's phone instead. As dumb as that was, what I did next was even stupider. I went back out, and after checking to make sure he was okay and not bleeding out, I decided to climb the tree and see whatever it was that had caused him to act so strangely. Slowly, I crawled up the branches and peered through the window to where my sister and her friends were sleeping. All except one, that is. It's been so long now, and I still remember that ungodly sight. One of the girls was standing there, crouching over the other girls with sharp talons extended from her fingers and fangs protruding from her mouth. Her skin was as pale as the moon, and her eyes flowed a deep velvet red. I will never forget the way she slowly drained the life from one of the other girls. I could see the life force ebb its way out of her body and into this abomination. Then the girl looked straight at me. I nearly fell back like Kurt did, but instead I stared her down across the darkness. What would she do? Suddenly she raised her hand up, and the other girls began to awaken. They were all now sharing that same dark glow in their eyes. I scrambled to get out of there. I didn't even wait for paramedics to show up and help Kurt. I didn't want to be around if those vampires thought I was a threat. I've been running ever since. I even tried to check on Kurt the other day, make sure he was okay, and got the help he needed. That was a mistake. "Hey bud, yeah, I'm fine. Didn't even need surgery," he said. "That's great. I'm sorry I ran. But it was crazy what those girls were doing. Oh yeah, it wasn't that weird after all. Rachael showed me after the paramedics came. In fact, I think she wanted to show you too," he said in a weird voice. Something was off. "Bud, where exactly are you now?" Wait. Why?" I asked. He was making me nervous. Was I panicking? Overreacting? "We're going to find you. One way or another." His voice sounded just like one of the little girls. I hung up immediately. I know now I can't go home. I don't really know where I can go that might be safe, but I'm going to keep moving and telling as many people as I can about what I saw.